Yo, what's up? Episode 164. Let's have some fun. It's Monday. How about now? Yeah. Yeah, baby. Party on Monday. Cut it early. What the hell? What's up, everybody? It's Monday. How are you? Cardone here, feeling good. Enjoying my Monday evening, and I got a crowd of people here. Come on in. Come on in. Fallon, what's up? Larry King Guy. Oh, this shirt is my new favorite shirt. Oh, you better believe it. I might have to order another one of these because I'm definitely gonna I'm gonna wear it out. Yeah, whoever designed this, hallelujah. Wow, we got a good group in here already. Come on in, Neuron Crux. What's up? Jason, Camillo, Ryan, my sis. Party on. If you're new, say hi. It's a chat show. If you're in here live, say hi. Even if I don't know you, I don't care. Say hi. If I do know you, say how I know you. Because some people have weird names on here, and I don't know what it is. Sir Dionisio the Pandemonious. Hello. I love saying your name. Yeah, I'm drinking tonight. Fake beer by Athletic Brewing Company called All Out. Extra dark. It is really dark. Atomic Pirate Girl, come on in. So, it's pretty dark. It's not my favorite. I've been liking a little bit of the it puts the lotion on the skin, yes. Wow, I got a good one today. We got a good show today. So if you're new in here, I think you're going to have a good time. I do need input. It's funny, some shows that I do on here, it's more of like the crowd's listening to me. And then I have some where the crowd's completely engaged. I think last week was one of those ones that was really engaging. I did it on The Stranger and Death. Mark the Barbarian, how you doing? Yeah, so tonight's it's a juicy one. Two subjects that I kind of feel passionate about for weird reasons. Jack Sparks, come on in. Oh, did I just see... Sherman's in here. What's up, Sherman? Sherman, I think you're going to have some stuff to say tonight, too. I wanted to let you know I am doing a live show this Friday. That's right. Come on in, folks. There's going to be a live show this Friday. It is not evening hour. It will be a Boardgasm. Friday, March 8th, 8 p.m., Boardgasm episode 15, live play. I'm going to be playing Dungeon Degenerates live for the first time on my show. It's going to be played live, so if you know the rules, come on in. Dan P. in the house. What's up? So yeah, Friday, come on in. If you know the rules to the game, you will have fun, and if you don't, you're going to have fun. I'm going to actually play the game and let the audience help me make decisions on what choices to make. I need to rehearse more. It's very hard to do a live game, to do it live. I have 4 cameras that I'm going to be juggling as I'm juggling doodads, props, pieces. I had to invent a new system for the cards. These are the character cards. I invented magnetic health and gold markers. so that I can move them around and not worry about them getting shifted. I've had to invent some setups here. It's quite extraordinary. It is very chaotic. There's a million cards and tokens and dice, and you gotta see the dice tray, you gotta see the monsters and the character, and the map is gonna be here, and then over here I have this setup. So yeah, then we have this one here is gonna be the map. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. People whenever you watch these online shows, I took for granted of how much work it is to organize and do it unless you have a crew. Now, sometimes I have helpers here, but most of the time I don't. It's just me. How's it sounding tonight? Does it sound good? So that's this Friday. I'm quite excited. I always get nervous when I do those shows because I usually get a big turnout. Sean Auberg and Katie Auberg of Goblinko, who make the greatest board game ever, they have been promoting my Boardgasm page on Instagram and when I do shows. So they're probably going to do a mail out or let people know, which is awesome. If you told me that my favorite game, I was going to know the people involved and they were going to promote my channel, I'd be quite flattered, and I am. So they're going to promote it, and I'm going to promote it, and if you guys know game nerds that like this kind of stuff, I love watching live gameplay on YouTube. Even though it might be like the most boring thing ever, for some reason it's a meditative engagement. It's not like watching video games. I can't watch people play video games. I just can't. So that's Friday. What else? Oh, live viewers. If you're live, please chat. Say hi. We're a great group in here. We ask a lot of questions. We don't make assumptions. At least that's what I'm trying not to do, and most of my audience, I believe, are the same. I don't assume anything anymore. I mean, I have assumptions, but I also try to keep my mind very open to like lots of things because every single situation I look at has a million parts to the puzzle and is usually quite complex. Although it's quite simple. What else? Oh, I watched Lord of the Rings recently, part 1, Fellowship of the Ring. I haven't seen it in years. I saw them when they came out. I own the DVD. Bizzle Zaphon. Bill Zaphon. Do I know you? Who? I love that name. That's great. Bill Zaphon. Am I pronouncing that right? So Lord of the Rings, it holds up. Something you might not have noticed is Peter Jackson consciously said, I want my movies to age well, so I'm not going to use a lot of CG that's going to date poorly. And if you watch the movie, most of the effects look practical. I'm not kidding. They really are practical. Most of the scenery are miniatures, or as he called it, big-iatures, because they're big miniatures. But anytime the wizards are battling, there's no lightning bolts. He made it look kind of real, it's really great. It still holds up. The acting style is interesting. Something I didn't notice then, but now I do. It is stylized, the whole movie. There's a certain style to it that I didn't realize until now. So, yeah. My mom just joined in. What's up, Mama? Always nice to have your mom at your show. Thank you, Mama. And my sis is in here, too. What's up, sister? Yeah, when family join, it's always nice. They think I'm nuts, but that's okay. Yeah, so I saw that Lord of the Rings movie. I haven't seen it in a while. My mom had never seen it, and I'm sure she'll tell you she enjoyed it. Lord of the Rings, I'm talking about. It's fantastic. It's a grand film. It's a spectacle. The source material I like a lot. So if you haven't seen it in a while, it holds up. The film I do want to see, which is not free online, so you have to buy it, something that came out last year called There's Something in the Barn. I should have put the trailer on tonight. It looks really good. It's called There's Something in the Barn, and it's like a horror film about barn elves in Norway. And it looks good. It's like a cheesy, fun Christmas movie with a fun horror element. And the elves aren't like Lord of the Ring elves. They're more like gnome dwarves. They're little, and they have the little pointy red hat and the rosy cheeks. They're those kind of elves. That looks fun. That's a movie I'd like to see. The new Godzilla, American Godzilla by Legendary, comes out at the end of the month, and I am excited to see it, although I'm pretty sure it's not going to have the impact as -1. Godzilla -1's nominated for an Academy Award. I can't even believe I'm saying those words. Bravo, Toho. Bravo, Toho. The American one looks fun, and I am excited, but it looks like popcorn and fluff. Which, hey, I like fluff. You know, occasionally it is good. What else before we get into the subject tonight? Games. I've been in a hole of Dungeon Degenerates and the new material, and I'm getting ready to run a live show. The Adventures of Hans and Franz. And you'll have to tune in on Friday to know a little bit more about Hans and Franz. Now, I don't know how many turns I'm going to be able to make on Friday. I'm going to give the backstory. We're going to bust them out of jail. Right now, Hans and Franz are in prison. That's where it's starting. Godzilla 2000, I absolutely love a lot. That's a Toho movie. I really liked it. And there's an American version and a Japanese version, and they are a little different. There's subtle differences. Believe it or not, I don't mind the dubbed version in English, the American version. I saw it at the movies when it came out. Yeah, I do like it. So, Dungeon Degenerates is the game I've been in a hole of. I did get to play recently, a few times, Munchkin Dungeon. Me and my daughter played it the other day. Love it. Fantastic. We played the Epic Game Board. For those who know, I doubt anybody watching the show knows about this game. It didn't do well. I also played Zombicide, which a lot of you might know. Night of the Living Dead Edition, which you might not know. Excellent. Okay, here we go. Before Dune 2, there was a trailer for Godzilla Kong. Did it look good? Or did it look silly? I don't know. I like the new trailers. They look kind of, it looks like there's a lot going on, and it looks like kids are going to like it. There's a baby King Kong in the trailer. You know, it looks a little Hollywood. Let's see. Might be great. I don't mind these new American Godzilla movies. They're okay. What else? On the free speech front, I'm going to do a free speech in every show now. Like I always say, I'm non-political unless it's free speech and guns. I don't mind talking about those two. I actually did a lot of research on both. A lot. I'm not uncomfortable talking about it. And to me, they're almost non-political. I don't look at them. Free speech and guns to me aren't political. I don't see them as that. And I don't see them as a left and a right thing. To me, it's very just, it is what it is. They're like basic values. And I just heard, and is anybody in here from Canada? Are they banning Pornhub in Canada? I just heard that. I don't know. I see the whole world getting more conservative. I see the dial going click, 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 click towards tight. And that's going to be one of the subjects tonight. So, yeah, if you're Canadian, let me know if that's really real. When we get off, I just heard about it not minutes ago, but like 30 minutes ago. And I wanted to mention it. I know Canada does not have, Canada has hate speech laws. And as you know, if you watch my show, I'm not into that. I don't like this hate speech thing, because to me, hate is a thought and it's a belief in if you don't like something, we don't have to like things. And if you don't like something a lot, which is what hate means, extreme dislike, you should be able to voice that opinion in art form or prose or in fiction or in nonfiction approach. So, I don't want a crucifix on space. What's that mean? What do you mean? In space? What does that mean? Refine that one a bit. Whenever I tell people to refine things, all it means is add a little more so I know the context. I think everybody should have automatic assault weapons. Maybe. Notice I didn't say no. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. My friend Alexander Ray, here to you as a friend and some wise words. Most of the world has hate speech laws. We have freedom here. Some take it for granted. Oh, when everybody says, well, we're not really free here. Well, yes and no, but yes on the speech thing, and I take that as the top dog. So, yes, I agree. We really do have a loose free speech law. We can criticize the king. The whole well, we really don't because, you can't yell fire and blah, blah, blah. There's some technicalities involved, but you could argue they're not speech or belief or expression. There's that. A blatant, violent threat that I'm going to come over to your house and murder you, kind of a thing. Different than free speech. Okay, that's... Now, there is a couple gray areas. Don't get me wrong. There are some weird gray areas. And whenever I see a free speech gray area, I have to go with what might be bad. Let it through. It might cause trouble, but you can't. As soon as you regulate it, you're can of worming it. You're giving the king power. And here we don't have a king, and there's a power of dynamic that's different. We assume our leaders are going to suck, which is why we're allowed to hate. That's it. All the other countries' laws are based on gods, traditions where the king is part of the god formula. The leaders are good and assumed to be good. And any dummy watching this show that assumes our leaders here or in the Western world are good, they're dummies. And I don't like to use that word dummy, but there I will. It's a very short-sighted approach. So that's why, yeah, you're right. Most countries have hate speech laws. England, Germany, Canada. You can keep going. You're not allowed to say mean things. I really want to make a shirt that might say Cardone Entertainment. I'm working on the wording, but it's going to say something about being mean is being legal. It's okay. It's legal to be mean. Something like that. I want to make a shirt. Yeah. So a big middle finger to hate speech laws. And listen, same with the porn stuff. I mean, most places it's illegal. Online, you can't show it anywhere unless it's on the porn sites. There's no forums except for Twitter. And Twitter now has had something weird happen, which I got to look into. But I'm a free speech guy. We're going to get into that in a second. We're going to go back to that little free speech thing in about 2 seconds when I introduce the subject tonight. There's a few parts to the subject. But before I do, grab a drink, settle down. I'm going to pour the rest of my fake beer. And I'm going to put... There we go. Tonight's episode 164 of Evening Hour Live. I called it Drive-Through Death Penalty and Fake Evil. And, hold on. What does this say? Elon put Tesla Roadster in hello orbit. The world, then how can I avoid seeing a crucifix on the moon? Yeah, well, that would not be good. A Venus on Venus. I like it. Yeah, a crucifix on the moon would be kind of weird if you went there and it was a big like Jesus has been here kind of a thing. So I wanted to talk tonight about the drive-through death penalty, which is something that the CCP has created, the Communist Party in China. I don't like Chinese politics at all. No, I think China sucks. I think Chinese people are cool. I think Chinese culture is awesome. I think Chinese food, culture, and their legacy as contributors to the awesome stuff on planet Earth is undeniable. But I think that the modern communist part is going to nerf them. So I want to talk a little bit about that tonight. And I wanted to talk about the death penalty. Now, I've mentioned the death penalty on this show before. I have a very interesting look at what I think about the death penalty. Because I am pro-death penalty, but I'm also against the death penalty for a very specific reason. And I'll flesh that out before we get to that. Fake evil, I have a lot to say. That's going to be a fun one, so we'll get to that. But the death penalty, well, I do think there are certain crimes that should be punishable by death. Only in the sense that if it's that extreme and that person should just be removed. Like, that's a little too far. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Don't need you. Time to go. The problem I have is the same problem. Our laws are built on the leader being a bad guy. If he's bad, we have the First Amendment and then the Second Amendment to take him out, if need be. Right? It gave us power, emergency powers, basically. So, my concept with the death penalty is the same thing. If you give the boss guy the power to kill you, if you make a mistake, the question is, will that be used against you, and could they use that to their advantage in a bad way? And again, you're a dummy if you don't say yes to this. Of course they will. And I'll tell you right now, there's been many people that were innocent on death row, and we've killed people by mistake. And right there's the reason why I'm not into it. There's no room for error. Now, here in my fantasy world, there might be a way to do it. This is where my values are not like basically 90% of the population, but mine would be you can only use the death penalty in extreme situations where it's cut and dry. The person's a threat, but the state does not decide or pull the lever. The person wronged or whoever, there has to be a separate party has to say, yes, kill the person, and yes, I will hit the button. Because then if it comes out there's a mistake, it's their fault, not the state. The state doesn't have to take the blame. So then they might say, hey, I'm not convicting the guy on the death, just lock him up. I don't know. The death penalty is also, exactly, it will be used against the rebel. That's what, but I'm not against taking out the troublemakers, the big ones, the really bad. Like, I'm not at all. So that's my thoughts. I'm pro-death penalty, but I'm against it for a couple technicalities on our power dynamic of the boss being corruptible, because I assume they will be eventually if they're not. So therefore, I don't know if I want him to have that power. That's just my basic. Maybe in the Worst Reich, yes. Yeah, the Worst Reich is the land in Dungeon Degenerates, which is a very cool place. And cool in the sense detailed. It looks kind of brutal. Yeah, I knew someone was going to ask what the Worst Reich was. Yeah, it's the world of Dungeon Degenerates. So let's talk about China's death penalty. They kill. They're number one in the death penalty in the world. Number one. I'm going to give you the top 5. It goes China. They say that they kill 4,000 a year. 4,000. A lot of independent groups say it's more like 8 to 11,000. That's more accurate. Because China disappears people. They have a death penalty. They have Malcolm. What's up, Malcolm? They have a fake court system, and when I say fake, I really mean fake. Like they have a judge, and but they don't have a jury, and your lawyer can argue for you, but their conviction rate's like 99%. If you are caught if you're accused of a crime, you're probably going to go to jail for it or get killed. So they kill about 8 to 11,000 a year. Number 2 is Iran, much smaller country. They kill 576 a year. Then comes another small country, Saudi Arabia, 196 a year. That's a lot for a small country. Then we got Egypt, drops to 24, and then you got the USA, 18. Isn't that weird? We're on number that we have a big country, but still it's quite a bit. So from 11,000 to 18 people, that's the difference. Now, why is that? Well, it has to do with what the crimes are. Yep, Japan still has it. They're like number 15, 16. I mean, North Korea, I don't think they have to kill that many people. Nobody commits any crimes there. I'm not kidding you. They're not on the list. I think they're like really low. So, you can get killed in China for political dissent, stealing, rape gets it. If you get caught rape, I mean, they kill you for anything over there. And I wanted to talk about a little bit of how they use it to their advantage. So for years, it's been the firing squad. They parade everybody in a stadium, and then they take them somewhere and kill them. But recently, they've been running a video, and you can look this video up. You can look it up online. It's a propaganda video that they shell out. And it basically scares you with their new method of execution. And here's what it is. Let's say you get convicted of stealing, and they sentence you to death. They're basically like, go home, you're on house arrest, and when your date of death arrives, a van will pick you up at your house. The van pulls up, and within 180 seconds, you're gone. You lay down, you get in the van, you lay down. I think they make you take your shirt off or something. They strap you down, and there's a camera, there's the logo of the CCP above you staring at you, and there's a few doctors in there, and they hook you up, and they give you 4 shots. And one of the things they say in the video is you will think about your crimes that you committed and how sorry you are as you're dying. Now, and then after that, they drive you somewhere else, take your body, put it in another van, and they cremate you. So, they're advertising it to scare everybody, to tell everybody it's cheaper and more humane, and it's a scare tactic. Now, the thing I wanted to bring up that I find fascinating, not only is that mind-blowing that they kill that many people, right? But one of the other things they do now is they make you have like artist license. So if you're an artist or a nightclub entertainer, you gotta get approved. Now, the reason why I'm bringing it up, why doesn't our stupid news use it to scare us? I'm getting in their head for a second, the news jerks, the media pundits, the narrative that the big shots, the government, the internal workings of the government, the big corporations that are getting people to work in the government so their policies fall in their favor, those guys, why? We all know they like to scare us. The more you're scared, the more TV you watch. The more TV you watch, the more you consume. We know that. You'd think they would make a news story out of that and hustle it. You know, why is, quote, Russia our American enemy, Yet China, we don't even discuss their really crazy stuff that goes on. We kind of hide it from our people, I would say. Why? If I'm a newscaster on the news, I'm like, no, that's a juicy story to put on the news. A, to show people how bad it is over there. And B, to let people know how lucky we are. We have that First Amendment and the Second Amendment, which is what Alexander was saying earlier. Don't you want to remind your citizens some of the rules that we have and why they're good and why they're confusing sometimes? Our First Amendment is confusing to some people. You have to learn about it. You have to learn how to use it and defend it. Same with guns and self-protection. You have to learn about it to use it correctly. Our laws assume we're a little smarter than we are, unfortunately. But we don't ask people to be smart. We actually dumb down everything. How can you have a country where we require a little bit of smart to make it work, yet we dumb it down? So why isn't our jerks using that to make money? To me, that's fascinating. Now, I have my theories why. I'm curious of why, maybe what you would think. I'm going to say a few, but you see what I'm saying? Don't you think we would want to scare? Like, here's one. They were using robots for checkpoints during COVID. And if you got sick, they took you away. Most Americans didn't know that. Why wouldn't they tell us that? Why won't they tell us, wow, in China, you want to know how it sucks? The artists basically need a license now. They're not allowed to say whatever they want. So the reason why I'm bringing it up is A, why that's not happening here. Why it's not something Americans would discuss as like a, wow, over there they have that. How do we make sure that doesn't happen here? And B, how the Chinese people are taking it and why they're not mad. God, if I lived in that scenario, I would be pretty much getting ready for the big day where we shut it all down. Seriously. If I had to have a license to practice magic. Now, out of those countries that we read about the death penalty, we got China, we got Iran, Saudi, and Egypt. I believe 2 of those 4, I could get the death penalty for being an atheist occultist. A wizard. Yeah. 2 of those. Maybe 3. I don't think Egypt kills wizards. We have become sheep, says Dan P. Yes, we have. Yes. Okay. Here we go. Neuron Crux says, I'm sure they would love to roll out that kind of authoritarian control here. Yes. But they need to make it slow and subtle. Yes. And roll out so we don't see it coming. Yes, my friend. That's exactly what I was going to say. James Dunn is in the house. That is the true meaning of efficiency. That's what they're being. Super efficient. Maybe they want ashes. Whatever you believe creates an emotion. Emotion affects your decision making. Neuron Crux, you hit the nail on the head, I think. The reason why they don't warn us about these things is we're getting it. You think our government wants us to have ultimate free speech and guns? Hell no. If I was the government, I wouldn't want it. Why would I? See? If I'm honest and I think about it, if I had to rule a group of people, I would not want them saying whatever they want, running around with guns. No way. As a civilian, I want that. You see? So, I really, really think that's it. They secretly want that. They can't say it. They might actually not. Like, if you interviewed everybody that works in the inner workings of the CIA, let's say, they probably would be like, yeah, we really don't want that. But yet, they do. Like, everything needs that little extra expansion. And as you keep getting there, the frog is boiling. And he don't notice it. So I really think that's where it comes to. And this is why I brought this subject up tonight. That's the ultimate subject I was getting at with the drive-through death penalties. This is why we spray paint drain pipe ditches to look like assholes. I don't get that. That might be a reference I'm missing. I'm a little dumb on some references. Wow, okay, good. Neuron Crux, you nailed it. That's it. That's really what it looks like to me. Like, why is nobody talking about these things? That sounds like something you talk about at work on a Monday morning when you read it in the paper. Like, holy crap, did you hear what they're doing over in that country? But nobody talks about it. If I was the king of the castle in this country, I would want to remind my people that, hey, you know, it might suck here. We might have a little bit more crime and we might have more offended people. Okay? But, look what we don't have to do. We're not doing that. So just so you know, China is doing this, and this. They don't do it. We're on a slow simmer. Well, okay. So England, number 2, you know, is my fave. Well, me too, brother. Without wanting to, for me, number 2 ain't there without, you got to have 2 for the 1. That's kind of why it's so amazing that it's number 2. Yeah. I mean, England has a mess on their hands right now, I believe, with their free speech laws in their country. I know that they have a lot of immigrants coming in now from all over the place. They're closer. And I know that the Islam religion is spreading quick. And the religion itself, Winston Churchill made speeches on how it doesn't groove with Western culture. It kind of says not to. And if you look at the details, it's not a healthy ideology, in my opinion. I do think that the free speech thing and Islam butt heads. And if I'm in a country with free speech, and then there's an ideology that's like, we want to destroy free speech, you have to have Islam first, you can't come to my party. You can't. That's not going to work. I try to make a party analogy with all these things. I'm throwing a party. I hire a door guy. The door guy, I'm like, look, everybody's invited. Everybody. I don't care who you are, what you look like, whatever you are, you're allowed to come to my party. I want you. I want to hear your different values. I think we can all groove. Now, here's the problem. If your values are the kind that when you get into my party, you want to shut down my party, you can't come in. That's all. Or you can come in, but you got to go in the corner over there and do your thing. Because as soon as you come over here and try to shut us down or tell us our party is wrong, not happening. It's going to ruin the party. We're here to party and have fun. That's how I look at it. If you let too many people in the door and there's no room to breathe, that's going to ruin the party too. We got to have some sort of something. You can't have a free-for-all. Well, you can if it's might is right. But if we're going to follow some sort of something, what's the death penalty rate per capita? Yes. Yes, they do. Right, they do. Yes. That's a good one, yeah. I mean, China has 1 billion people, so, you know, if they kill 11,000, it sounds like it's not that much. It's not what you think. But the other thing, we don't know. I think there's a lot of crazy stuff. Oh, here's a question I have for people. Most people I know that live in Asia, in China, have a VPN so they can surf the web. But what if it's the death penalty for having a VPN number, a different address? My question to everybody in China is, would you have a VPN that's from another country if you knew you could get the death penalty? Everybody I asked said they would get rid of the VPN. Which means they wouldn't be able to watch my shows anymore. You know, like, so there you go. Well, okay, that's... So the everybody's invited, yes, has some caveats. And the caveats are all about, you're allowed in, but if this, and this... Like, here's one. A guy in New York who ran a rock and roll bar called the Continental, he got in trouble because he made a dress code. He was like, no hip-hop clothing. A lot of people said it was racist. He was like, no, it's a rock and roll party. And if too many hip-hop outfits guys show up, my rock and roll crew that are showing up aren't going to want to do this anymore. So therefore, he made a dress code. I don't think it's a racist thing at all. I think it's a rock and roll party. And if you're a private club owner, you should be like, we want rock clothing, right? So yes, I do think dress codes and some rules have to be applied. Some rule. I'm not going to sit here. We're not going to make them up now. But yes, there's got to be some sort of. You just can't come, especially if your values are the ones shutting down the other. If you're coming into my country and you think rock and roll and bikinis and beer and weed are bad, great. You can think they're bad, but you can't shut it down. They should have a litmus test, the bikini girl test. Like, you unroll the poster of Christy Brinkley, 1986. And if they bug out, you're like, dude, you're going to have a problem in this party. You're going to have a problem. You might want to rethink coming here. There are other countries that you can go to. You know? So, my thoughts. Now, let's get to the fake evil. Anybody know what I'm referring to? That subject that we just talked about, I'm not done yet. Well, I'm going to define evil, because I don't really, if you notice, I don't use that word, but I like Anton LaVey's definition of evil, and that is, evil is anything you don't like. That's my definition of good. Anything that I like, that is productive, good. That's all I have. But evil, I'm going to give it its definitions that others use. But when I was little, and I would hear someone say, he's evil, or Hitler's evil, or that guy, he's an evil guy. My interpretation was they have a devil in them controlling them. Hitler's evil. His thoughts are, the devil has taken him and controlling him. And, okay, that's fine. But there's a mythology involved with this evil. And so that's where I'm going to put that word, evil. It's got a connotation of a devil, bad intention, selfishness, right? That's the definition. Fake, false. False, evil. And, you know, ever since I was a kid, I started seeing fake evil. When I first discovered heavy metal, I was blown away that Black Sabbath were accused of being devil worshippers, and then I realized, well, they all had crucifixes, and they were singing about evil things. But why are we interpreting them as the source of the evil? Maybe they're just storytelling. Well, it turns out that's what it was. Just like Iron Maiden's song, Number of the Beast, they're not Satanists, nor, I think they're Lutherans. And I think Nico McBrain, the drummer, is a born-again Christian. Okay? So I noticed versions of this evil being presented as a thing and it being interpreted. Now, whenever someone sees a horror film, the context isn't that it's a docudrama. It is a story. And the actors, we don't think are the real people. When we saw Rosemary's Baby, we didn't think that can evil exist independent of, well, I don't believe in evil, so no, but I think in the mythology of a Christian, evil is something more attributed to humans because God gave humans free will. Animals don't have free will, therefore they're out of the loop, I believe is the answer. Yes, monkeys do eat baby. Yeah, monkeys can be, quote, evil amongst themselves. But back to the subject of bands using evil. Why, when a band plays evil, why have we always assumed that they themselves are also evil? Why not filmmaking didn't it go that way? I think it has to do with a band is music. It's just audio. And so when you see them, that's an extra thing, like live, but basically it's a recorded thing. It's a game model. Oh yeah, man can be either evil or good. Yeah, it is. It's very, what do you call it? Algorithmy. Algorithmy. Is that a word? Algorithmy. So then let's keep going with the bands. So if you get a little forward, the first bands that I remember being, quote, real evil was the first wave black metal people. We had Venom and Merciful Fate. Well, it turns out Venom were fake. They even said it. We're just doing it to shock people. Shock people. Remember that. Shock. Merciful Fate, I also believe, were using a shock value, but it's a little different. Because this time, yeah, I do too, Jim. This time, King Diamond, the singer of Merciful Fate, who became a very famous independent person, he himself was an open Satanist. And when I use that word, I'm referring to the Church of Satan, Anton LaVey, and the religion of Satanism. And he was like, yes, I'm a real Satanist. So he had a few things going. He had a fantasy evil of black masses and baby sacrifices, and his songs were about a wizard killing somebody and digging up corpses and peeing on their graves. Truly blasphemic things and murderous and, quote, bad. But he also had this, he was saying in interviews that he really was a Satanist. To me, this was new as a little kid. I was like, whoa, here's a guy saying he really is that. He's, all the other bands for years were, we're not Satanists, because they weren't. They weren't. Ozzy Osbourne's not into that stuff. They're all mostly Christian guys, Lutherans, for that matter. Same with the Misfits. They're Catholics, which is, you know, fine. I don't care. But they're not the other. Okay. I always thought that the idea of Satanism that Anton LaVey presented, well, we'll get to Mayhem in a second. So the thing was, though, with Satanism, is that to a Christian or a Jewish guy or a Muslim guy or anybody coming from a white light religion of goodness and compassion being the driving force and repenting, the Satanism philosophy really is evil. It really is. It really is the opposing value system to what they're saying. It's completely different because there is no good and evil. It's beyond good and evil. And in Satanism, there's true freedom of what that is and how it's defined. All within the context of clearly following the laws of your country. I mean, if you want to fetishize going to jail and dying on death row, go right ahead. But basically, the satanic philosophy is about a personal journey of freedom and being your own boss. And in that, there's other things, but it really is seen as evil. Why? Because it's denying everything else that they're saying is good. I don't think that repenting to a God that you don't even know about. To me, the whole concept of Judeo-Christian values is a slave morality. It really is. Judaism came from a group of people who were slaves in the story and didn't like it and created a moral code out of that and a way of life of how to uplift themselves out of this. That's what that is. And that's fine. That's fair. But I don't think it's good for me. Questioning authority is evil then. Yes, it is. Yes. One killed himself with a shotgun. Who's one? Oh, you mean Mayhem? Yes. Yes, the singer did. Oh yeah, you had a monkey? Wow, that's amazing. I want to hear about that one day. They are dangerous. So, I wanted to bring up tonight something that I a lot of people mail me in the mail a few things. The Satanic Temple and the music group Twin Temple. Okay? I don't talk about the Satanic Temple much on this show. I don't give them any. It's a waste of breath. I think it's all pretty cringy. But I wanted to talk about it tonight because I get a lot of emails like, hey, these guys are great, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, bleh, okay? And I wanted to address it formally. First of all, the Satanic Temple. I forget what year they formed. I'm guessing it was about 9 years ago at this point, 7 or 8 years ago. They are a, quote, newer, quote, satanic group, and not to be confused with the Church of Satan, who's been around since 1966, and you know about Anton LaVey and his legacy, and the influence of all of that has done for the last 57 years? Oh my, something like that. Is it 57 or 58? I lost track. But the Satanic Temple are the cringiest of all. They are, I'll give you a brief history of how they started. First of all, they're owned by like a media group. It's not a real religion. They are a political activist group. And the first thing they did as a prank is there was a Republican guy, I believe it was Rick Scott maybe, and they didn't like him. So to troll, they went as Satanists or devil worshippers dressed with outfits to a Rick Scott event and kind of trolled it. Well, it did well. So they immediately made some websites, and on the website, it portrayed them not as philosophical Satanists in the modern world, a word of what it means. It's not devil worshipping. It's atheism. There's no gods or devils. It's using mythology for power, not gods for power. The mythology as mythology. And so the Satanic Temple, they were like, no, we're the real thing. We really do believe in the devil. And they made a website, and that's what they were pranking people with. Eventually, well, no, okay. But they're not defending your separation of church and state. They're squirting lighter fluid on it. And I'll bring that up in a second. I find it a bad way to do it. Behaving like the enemy is not how you get business done. And, well, we'll get to that in a second. So, okay. So, the Satanic Temple, first were theistic in their view of the devil, And then they quickly realized, because they had some Church of Satan ex-members in the group, let's use the real satanic philosophy now, because it's real, and we'll use that as our platform. So they took everything from Anton LaVey and the Satanic Bible and the Church of Satan and kind of hijacked it, and then they got shut down for, you can't do that. It's somebody else's material, and you're a political activist group. If you don't know this, Anton LaVey didn't like do-gooders. Neither do I. I don't like do-gooders. Anybody that signs up and says, I'm here to help, usually they're not here to help. And so, so then the Satanic Temple had their third incarnation, and they made their own tenets and religiosity details that they added to their Satanic Temple. Now, mind you, it's just a political activist group. That's all it is. That's using, quote, Satanism to change something. The problem is it's not Satanism. Satanism was codified by Anton LaVey. He actually kind of organized it to what we call it today. Anything else is devil worship and that's all it is. But they're not selling it as devil worship. They're not doing that. No. Their first tenet as Satanists, I believe, is compassion to all living creatures. That's Christianity. They're Christians. They're using a weird version of Christianity to remove it doesn't work. If you ever watch them get interviewed with anybody smart, they start to fall apart, and if you call them fake, they don't have a lot to build upon. So, well, you can do your own research. A really good essay to look up is The Village Voice of New York City. Kind of did a little expose on the Satanic Temple. There's a quote in the movie Hail Satan, which is about the Satanic Temple, that made me laugh out loud, and it was this: before I found the Satanic Temple, I had nothing. That's basically what the guy says. When I heard it, I was like, this is the same thing as Christianity. It's no different. It's the same value system and ideology. It's just a little bit of a flip-de-doo of it. That's the difference. I'm telling you, its core value is completely the same thing to me as Christianity, Judaism, Islam. They're do-gooders trying to change it for the do-gooders. I mean, it's the same thing. If they had power... Oh, they also went for tax-exempt status. So that's what Christians do. They're like, we don't have to pay taxes. I think everybody should pay taxes, and so did Anton LaVey. The Church of Satan pays taxes. To me, it's not... Their version of evil is a Halloween costume for political purposes. There's an old saying LaVey had, which was, everybody wants to play the devil's game, but they won't take the devil's name. The Satanists, well, they're openly like, yeah, we took the devil's name. We don't care. So, the Satanic Temple took the devil's name, but won't play the game. They are Christians. They are definitely Christians. To me, it's the same thing. They're do-gooders. They have a value system that they think should be the way. One of my favorite Nietzsche quotes is, there's my way, there's your way. As for the way, there is none. To me, that is a satanic viewpoint that the Satanic Temple hasn't adapted. Now, move it over to, there's the Satanic Temple, and now there's a band called Twin Temple. Twin Temple is a satanic doo-wop band. They're new. There's like a cute girl singer and a guy, rockabilly-looking guy who's doing the evil rockabilly look. I think they should call it a charity tax and tax the churches. It'd be pretty funny. So there's this group, people are emailing them all the time. They are Satanic Temple supporters, which means they're not Satanists. And they're do-gooders. And they do a show where they do their doo-wop, but they do the live ritual stuff theatrically. So they're presenting a we're real Satanists approach to their theatrics and their message. No, we're real Satanists and we're making music and it is evil and we are here for you. And every time the first time I heard their music, I listened to the music, and the first thing I noticed was the music was just whatever. It's just, if you got rid of the satanic lyrics, there's nothing there. They're musically weren't taking things in directions that I thought were new, shocking, interesting, colorful in a manner that made me want to pay attention a little closer. It didn't actually get me to ask any questions, and my bullshit radar went off quick. With 2 seconds of research, I found out they still copy everything Church of Satan, of course. But this group, they do something that I was, somebody pointed out to me that kind of made me go like, wow, okay. So I've seen bands do baby sacrifices on stage, and I do the quotes because it's not real. It's usually for theatrics. Gwar does it. Now, when Gwar does a baby sacrifice, yes, it's bloody, it's gross, but it looks a little bit like the Muppets, okay? It's a little tongue-in-cheek, monstrous, and goofy. And we all know that it's satire. And if somebody doesn't know it's satire, they're dumb as a doornail. Merciful Fate had a little bit of a version of it, but for some reason, I never conflated it with his philosophical version of Satanism. I knew he was being shocking. He's wearing crazy makeup, and I mean, it looks play acting, okay? But now the Satanic Temple, they come out and they do the ritual that's at the beginning of the Satanic Bible, which is a very real book with very real rituals for religious purposes that do not involve baby sacrificing. It actually says clearly in the Satanic Bible that that's bad. Right away. The only people that sacrifice anything, animals and humans, are Christians and Jewish people. If you read the Bible, it's filled with animal sacrifices and God sacrificing humans, and God kills his own son as a human sacrifice to open the gates of heaven. Lots of blood. Christianity and Judaism are based on blood magic. It's all blood magic. That's what it is. I can't believe no one says it. They're blood magic. So, page 89, there we go. There's no... the Church of Satan is against children, anything. There's no children involved in that. There's none. It's out of the way. It's not about indoctrinating children. So, this temple band comes out, does doo-wop, and they do rituals, and in that, they do this baby thing where they kind of make it look like they're killing a baby. And I was like, they're mixing and matching some things here. And it made me think about it for a second. They're clearly being shocking. And, yeah, Abraham. Yeah. The Abraham story. It's all blood magic. So they're being shocking. They're being outrageous. But yet, they're using very real satanic principles. Meaning from the Satanic Bible. Which isn't the Satanic Temple. It's completely different than their, quote, religious ideology is. It doesn't make any sense. It would be like a Protestant using Catholic Mass. Or even crazier than that. Opinions. What's the opinion? That Christianity's blood magic? It is blood magic. It says in the Old Testament, God likes the smell of burning bulls. He likes it. God liked killing animals in the Old Testament. It says it. There's no denying it. And God then realized he had to murder his own son to unlock the gates of heaven. He had to do one more sacrifice. And that's why Christians don't need to sacrifice animals. There was one last final one. The last ultimate blood sacrifice. It opens the gates. Now, why would the Satanic Temple want to do this baby sacrifice? You'd think they wouldn't want to do that because they're advocating murdering children. I mean, what? Yeah, you're not allowed in my party. But I think there's a little more to it than that. Yes, here you go. We have smart people in the house. The story Noah made, animal sacrifice, and God liked the smell. Yeah, he loved it. So, why would they want to do this? Well, I know the Satanic Temple is very pro-abortion rights. I am too. But I don't think doing baby sacrifice, which is, they said it's one of their sacraments, the Satanic Temple, to have an abortion. I don't think that's going to help the cause. I don't think foisting their whatever in the public forum is going to help the cause. It's going to squirt lighter fluid. It's like, it would be like promoting certain ideas right next to the KKK's base. It's like, what are you doing? You're just going to go get them. They're going to get more members now. Like, what? That's why I think there's more. The KKK numbers went up. Why? Because they're calling it, they're using it now. And that means that the other team jacks their ranks. You know, they're squirting lighter fluid. So why would you want to do that? Why would you? Well, they're trying to be shocking. It worked. They're getting attention. People like them. I think they're opening, they went on tour with, I think, Ghost or somebody. I aesthetically think they're cringy. Really cringy. They're very do-gooder. If I had to talk to them, I'd say, folks, you might think you're looking spooky and evil because of all the people following you and cheering you on. But for the educated few, it looks cringy and it's going to backfire. You know, like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to say? And that's what my question is. If they're trying to use it for change, they're a do-gooder. Especially if they're trying to do it for everybody. If it's for a personal journey, that's different. But that's not what I think it is. I do too, Ryan. Yeah, Ryan says, I have to be honest. I like the smell of barbecue too. Right. I don't know if I want to smell barbecuing human. And then promise to never flood the earth again. Well, that didn't work. I love it. You know, the Noah's Ark movie with Russell Crowe is kind of neat. But honestly, I think they're cringe. I think they're trash. I think they have terrible music. And if you get rid of their gimmick, there's nothing there. They're not evil. They're not scary. They're do-gooders. They're whiny. They are not that unique at all, actually. I see nothing special. The music doesn't make me... The bands that I've always been fascinated with, there was musically drew me in for a reason. And their music to me, been there, done that, seen it, just throwing it out there in the ether. God loves human barbecue. God loves human barbecue. Well, wait. He does like the smell of burning bull. I'm sorry. He likes lots of barbecues. Really? Any thoughts? I mean, really, it's funny whenever I say satanic, the Twin Temple sucks. It's like telling people that I don't like Tarantino movies. They're like, what? And I'm like, you didn't read into that as being phony? They're fake. They're fakers. I know they're trying to tell people they're real. They're not real. If they're following the Satanic Temple, it's not real. The Satanic Temple is owned by a media corporation. It's a film company. They're like art nerds that make movies, and they're not, it's not real. What is this? I think of God. It's because Cain offered veggies and Abel offered sheep. God favored the... that's funny. Maybe. Yeah, I really, whenever a band throws out that there's something evil about them, of course I'm going to look into it. I'm fascinated by what people's interpretations are of evil all the time. And I knew right away I smelled phony baloney. I can smell religious and phony from far away. Religious meaning Christian. Many times I'll see somebody setting up a street performance, and I'll be like, that's got to be Christian. And then it is. God's a meat eater. I think he is in the story. Wow. Any thoughts? I mean, I really don't like when people do that with satanic bunko sheet. I believe on the Church of Satan's website, there's a very good one. If you Google the words satanic bunko sheet, you will see some very crystal clear spell outs of the ones that are there. You'll see the signs. Oh God, here we go. You're making me drool. Venison tenderloin. Wow. Yeah, Satanic Temple, meh, cringe. Anytime I hear their spokespersons speak, I'm like, wow. If they read Friedrich Nietzsche, their minds would explode. I don't think they get it. They should read a little bit more of Epicurus, a little bit more of Nietzsche, and they should read Anton LaVey, I think. Shouldn't they? I really think so. If they're going to throw the Satan word around, I mean, clearly he got it. You know that the Satanic Temple doesn't buy into the magic element? Isn't that the whole point? I'm over it. You won't hear me ever probably do another mention of them unless I have to. Unless I'm forced to because there's something silly they did, or gluttony leads to pride, which I like both of them for different reasons. Yeah, I don't think I'll mention them. Same with the Temple Twits. I'll never listen to them. I doubt I'll ever see them live play unless they're at a festival. I'm forced to see them. I can't imagine. It's pretty cringy. Like the captains of cringe. Whenever I hear the lady speaking the satanic words, I'm like, whoa, it smells like sheep partying at a political activist event. Not into it. Folks, I am out of breath from talking. I've got to pee. And I'm kind of hungry. And it's Monday, and it's my favorite day of the week. We need to hang again next Monday. But Friday... Yes, I notice I didn't use LaVeyan Satanism tonight. There's Satanism, and Anton LaVey invented it. He's the one. That's it. Nobody else even came close to doing what that guy did. And so, yeah, there's only one version. These new versions are Christianity, in my opinion. Mayhem, I don't know the newer guys of what their philosophical leanings are. They definitely are scary for other reasons, meaning I don't think they believe in good or evil. So I don't want to call them Satanists because they might not be, but they are chaos agents of some sort. I like them. I like their music. I do think their music is off-putting and good for that matter. I like it. I'm a fan. Oh, by the way, Deicide are kind of funny with their version of evil. They have a new video that's quite shocking. Go look it up. I don't want to spoil it. They have 2 new videos. Great special effects. Tongue-in-cheek. No pun intended. Look it up. I should have showed the video tonight. I do take donations on this show. I don't like to ask for them too often because that's not why I'm here. But people that donate, you know what? That's awesome. It means a lot. And I do this full time. But, oh yeah, I do like Mayhem a lot. I mean, for people who don't know the band, one of the guys blew his brains out and they made a record jacket out of it. Go ahead and look it up. It's shocking. One of the other members killed another member and went to jail for 23 years. And it's been a band of chaos. They are scary. They're real. They, you know, just realized I have a giant wad of cash in my pocket. Sorry. I'm like, is that what is that? So yeah, they're theists. I think some of them believe, yeah, they were kind of like devil worshippers for real. Great. Yeah, I mean, they had their real convictions. They weren't do-gooders. Fallon, thank you very much for watching. Yeah, thank you. I wanted to mention Friday, again, live. I'm going to be on Friday live. It's going to be, this, Boardgasm live, 8 p.m. Come watch. I'm going to play Dungeon Degenerates. That episode's probably going to be at least 2 to 3 hours long. And it's going to be kind of cool. I've never done a live game before. Never. I just always thought it was going to be pretty hard to do. And it is. So I'm kind of excited. So tune in. Watch me juggling the buttons. And watch me juggling playing a game live. It might be kind of amusing. Thank you for your time, everybody. I hope I got you thinking. Because that's all these do for me. And I'm not trying to change the world. I'm not trying to give anybody the way it should be. There's the way I like, but I know for a fact it's not for everybody. And I don't want the whole world to have my values or my views. Why would I? I know that there's room for others. And I can get along with other people from different value systems as long as they know where I'm coming from. And I kind of think I get where they're coming from. And I can definitely share ideas. And so that's all I'm here to do. So you guys are awesome. I had a great group tonight. Thank you very much. And I'm going to take us out with... I'm not going to play the Boardgasm trailer. We don't need to do that. Yeah, thank you, Ryan. And what's it say about demons in the morning? I love it. We got a good group here. I really think so. Where's this? Oh, yeah, Boardgasm Friday. Woo! I am going to take us out with the outro. And I'm out. I got to use the restroom. So, party on, Wayne. Have a great Monday. It's episode 164. And Atomic Pirate Girl, thank you. Thanks to everybody in here, my family that stops through. And some of you have been with me since the early days of this show now. I really like doing it because of the group. Party on.